questions. The problem was I jumped the gun a bit. The next day, after putting out my opinion piece that this was a bit of a red herring, I called the OECD tax director in Paris, and he told me actually substantially TIAs and DTAs are similar in information sharing priorities. So the point of all this, I think the point of all this was we put out our first wish beat, what it should have been. So I'm proud of this incident because it gave us an opportunity to say without being told, take this off, or because it's defamatory, or it might put the government in bad light, you're incorrect. We put out our wish beat and said, well, this is what we've been told by the OECD tax director, and we admit our mistake and we're sorry. And that's a process I'm going to build, the wish beat.
Okay, now I want to, before I leave, say 5 minutes for questions from the floor, let's have a quick fire round, okay? You have 1 sentence to reply to the following questions. Okay. Is Tom citizen journalism? Tom, straight lines, or whatever, I don't know what it stands for, Tom.
No.
1 sentence, not 1 word.
It depends on what one means by citizen journalism. It's probably in that boundary area where you don't know how much value it contributes. Journalism has to contribute value in terms of real information and so forth. And I think it is very debatable. So it's really on the margins.
There's a set of processes that associate with journalism. So I don't think STOMP is journalism. It's citizen-generated content.
Next question, your policy on moderation of comments on your blogs and why?
We're still trying to figure it out. I think as Yong Fang Hao famously said, depends on what I have for breakfast. We have a policy, no vulgarities, nothing defamatory or seditious. Beyond that, a lot of it is, well, we know we moderate it when, we know we have to moderate it when we see it.
I think the easiest thing for me to say would be that the policy on what one would allow or not allow for comments would a statement like this be allowable for myself when I'm writing the article itself? It's something that, if it's something that can be said within the body of the article, then it should be allowed certainly within the comment. But if it's something that I would think is wrong for the article itself, then it should also be out of bounds for a comment.
Okay, privacy. Is anything that you see in public fair game for your blog?
I know we disagree on this. I take a rather broader view of what is possible. But the simple test is, if something takes place in public, if somebody is doing something in public that is visible to other members of the public in the ordinary sense of eyesight and vision, then it is considered public enough to put on the blog.
My threshold tends to be relevance for me. So whether it has a broader, whether it raises a broader societal issue or has an impact on the wider community trend, then I highlight personal behavior or instances of personal behavior as part of this trend. But I wouldn't do the stomp thing, take a photo of somebody picking his nose and say it's in that way.
Okay, my final question about sustainability. It's very easy to start a blog. What's your advice to keep it, to make it last for longer than 6 months?
Good people, for me, good people to run it with you. Well, I obviously have a lot less stamina than Alex, so a big team helps.
We all start things with a burst of passion. It's like falling in love. Maintaining it is a separate matter, like falling in love. And I would advise anybody to ask yourself, if you only have 1/4 of the passion that you have today, 1/4 of the time, 1/4 of the resources, will it still be able to go on? If you don't, then consider not even starting it because it may be a flash in the pan. However, nothing wrong with flashes in the pan, and sometimes a fling is a very enriching experience.
Especially when you're young, right? When you have, you can burn several bouts in 6 months and so on.